Greetings everyone, I am Thomas the Retro Nerd, reviewing the games good or bad. Fan request time again, it's time to take a look at how much my fans support me. And today, it's from our username, Mark's My Bitch.
Mark's my bitch.
Don't you laugh at him!
Dude, with a username like that, how can I not laugh at that? It's too easy. Yeah, Mark's my bitch. More like Mark's your bitch, alright?
Yet, he's been a fan for years. Also, he's been pestering me to review more LJN games, and it's kind of annoying. But thankfully, he suggested I should review the Double Dragon games. Double Dragon started as an arcade game in 1987, brought to us by Technos Japan. This game revolutionized the beat-em-up genre in video games. The plot is about two brothers, Billy and Jimmy Lee, on a quest to rescue Billy's girlfriend Marion from a criminal organization named the Shadow Warriors. The game is more fun when you have a friend by your side to help beat the game. There are a couple things that I call bullshit. The first is that you can actually hurt the other player when fighting the mooks. Odd. Second and last, the game is very shallow at the end. You have to beat Jimmy in order to save Marion. What a crock of an ending. Just because Marion is Billy's girlfriend, the game refuses to accept both brothers. Naturally, with the successful arcade game, Tradewest got the rights for the game and ported it to the Nintendo Entertainment System, where its popularity grew stronger. So, does the NES version still hold up today? Well, to answer my request, I'm gonna pop this in and take a look. By booting up the game, we get a cool title card. Sure, it may lack the dragons like in the arcade version, but the music makes it up for it. The game has multiple options, though I will get to Game Mode B later. Game Mode A is the main game where they got the story down right. Like the arcade version, you have to punch and kick your way through a bunch of mooks to save Marion from the Shadow Warriors. The controls are easy to follow. The D-pad moves you around, A punches, B kicks, and A and B makes Billy jump. You'll level up while fighting the mooks in the NES version to gain extra attacks. This is a unique thing even though that you have all the attacks in the arcade version. You can also use weapons the mooks drops during the fight. The whip is pretty fun.
Why do it?
Though my favorite is the bat. Whacking the mooks with this thing is so satisfying. However, the worst weapon is the knife. It insta-kills the mooks, but you get no points from this. Getting back to the level up system, from this meter, every time you gain 1,000 points, you'll gain a heart, allowing you to dish out heavier attacks on the mooks like an uppercut and a jump kick. I also love the hair pull attack, awesome. However, for the bigger enemies, that's a whole different story and where the difficulty cranks up. A bubble is a prime example. The only way to inflict damage on this Mongo is a well-timed jump kick. Sometimes he'll dodge out of the way, leaving you wide open. It makes it worse when you have to fight two at a time alone. This is insane!
Oh my god! Are you fucking?
This game feels impossible alone. You really need a second player. Yet, because of the limitations on the NES, the game suffers from Super Mario Bros. Syndrome, meaning the second player has to wait and wait and wait until the first player dies to go. Yet both players control Billy, which is stupid. Oh, Jimmy is in the game, though defeating the final boss, you fight Jimmy at the end in the NES version in order to save Marion.
Are you fucking?
Now, Game Mode B is a one-on-one fight with a fighter you selected. Whatever fighter you selected, both players play two alternative versions of each character. Like for example, if you choose Billy, player 2 is Jimmy. This mode is more fun with a friend because the computer has a handicap. You cannot win. Ever! 13 years and I still can't beat the AI.
Who thought this was a good idea?
Another flaw I forgot to mention is that you could tell that the game can't handle juggling different enemies at a time, unlike the arcade version. There are some good things I can say about the NES version. The graphics look great, pretty good details on the enemies, the levels, and even the mission titles that are exclusive to this version. The soundtrack is also good, mostly remixes from the arcade version. With some original pieces added here.
Nice. So, Tom, which track is your favorite track? You're right, you kind of went off the fucking rails, dude.
Well, I'm sorry, Sean, but the music is that good.
Nah, alright. Honestly, I get like that at concerts too, actually.
Double Dragon is a classic on the NES, revolutionizing the beat-em-up genre, yet if you could get past the game's difficulty better than I did, you can see how fun it is. Even though I heard the Sega Master System version is the superior version, I am not looking at that version because I was requested specifically to review the NES Trilogy. Yeah, Trilogy. With a successful arcade game, it also spawned 2 sequels, which are of course got ports on the NES. Acclaim was responsible for porting the sequels, so how do they hold up too? First off, we got Double Dragon 2: The Revenge. How did this compare to the first game? Well, it kicks ass! Plot-wise, it recaps the events from the first game, yet the Shadow Warriors took it a step further and killed Marion! Yikes! This time, the Lee brothers swear revenge against the Shadow Warriors. Gameplay-wise, it's completely different. Facing right, you press A to punch forward and press B to kick backwards. Facing left is vice versa. The controls may feel a bit weird first off, but I managed to get used to it. You also have some other moves by punching a combination of buttons. My favorite is the high spin kick. Very powerful. Since Techno's learned about the capabilities of the NES, 2 players can play at the same time, which saves a bunch of headaches while progressing through the game. But whatever you do, don't pick mode B for 2 players. That is where you'll hit each other. Me and my friend Abby made it very far in this game. Okay, so here's the strategy. You stay on one side, I'll stay on the other. That way we both finish the job faster.
Alright, let's go.
The levels are unique in design. The first level starts you off at the streets like in the first game. The second level takes you at the heliport where you have to punch mooks spewing out of choppers and fight 2 fast ninja-like thugs that are a bitch to dodge. The third level is the most unique since you fight a gauntlet of mooks in a chopper. The most annoying part of this level is to avoid the door so you won't get sucked out and die. Following that, we head down to an undersea base. While in the base, it's best to be careful with the spike traps and the ceiling covered in spikes. Also, this conveyor belt stretch at the end is nerve-wracking.
Oh, come on!
Oh, are you serious? Alright, just try going down. There's a solid spot right there.
Okay.
We've gotten as far as level 5 in the jungle. The biggest thing I hated in this level is the log bridge. If you're just 1 fucking pixel short, you fall in. Instant death. Oh, we gotta be careful with these jumps.
Yeah, we gotta do it carefully, man. Oh, damn!
How'd you miss that?
I don't know!
Well, looks like I'm on my own for this one. Climbing up this ladder and... Oh, come on. I gotta fight a Bobo again? You fuck! You fuck! What?
Not again.
Whoa!
What the hell happened to you two?
This game destroyed us.
Really? How so?
How much this game's always kicking our ass. Every time we're this close to beat it, bam! They keep beating us like we're like a bunch of wind bees right there. Every time I'm trying to cross somewhere, I keep missing the jump, and it's really annoying, my god!
Well, what about you, Tom?
A Bobo tossed me into an abyss. Instant death.
Well, I think you two need a breather.
Wait, what? Oh, why do I have to research this now? So what I've read later on is that when you get a game over, there are some continue codes to help you continue at the level that you died in. Well, that's not going to help out very much. I also read that Double Dragon 2 is one of the first games that pulls off the crap of you can't gain access to the final level unless you play the hard difficulty. I don't like how games lock the final level unless you play the hard difficulty. It's bullshit, but I'm glad we made it as far as we did. Double Dragon 2 did some improvements from the original. I highly recommend this too, even though beating this game is a bit of a stretch. Now we're looking at the last game of the series released on the NES, Double Dragon 3: The Sacred Stone. And boy howdy, I heard some bad things about this one.
What the hell?
Well, let me just tell you, Sean. I heard some bad things about this game that I'm gonna have to warn you about.
Okay, what were bad things? Dude, I'm gonna head out.
I'd say that's a good idea. Brandon?
Yeah, I'll go with him.
Well, call you later, dude, when you're like, calm down a bit.
Since I did my research and love for retro games back in my teenage years, that is also where I heard that this game was shit. And what I heard was true. I'm just gonna get this out of the way. This game is too fucking hard. The enemies come out of nowhere and they just beat the crap out of you on both sides with no breathing room. Unlike the previous games, you only have one life in this game. One fucking life! After dying, you are forced to start all over. Why? I had no trouble with the previous games, but they went way too far with this one. It doesn't give you any breathing room while fighting the mooks. By the way, according to the plot, this is a new organization since the Shadow Warriors are done for. Once again, Marion is kidnapped yet again. By the way, it was revealed in the second game that she's alive. This damsel in distress thing is at the same level as Princess Peach. Now, I can't talk about this game without mentioning something obvious. Bimmy and Jimmy? How'd they make a mistake like this? Bimmy isn't even a real name. Are you kidding me? Yeah, this typo was mocked and mean to hell all over the internet ever since its discovery. Abby and I didn't spend too long with this game. We already know that this game is on a whole new level of suck.
I can't stop running!
Then what I learned that the NES version extremely went off the rails compared to the arcade version. The arcade version had something that resembles a shop where you had to pay for upgrades, yet another excuse to eating up your quarters. No, I am not gonna go stop on stuff that is incredibly stingy, brainless even, just to get more quarters out of the arcade! I'm not playing these games! I've been watching too much of Hearthstone Lucas recently. Is that a bad thing? Not really, no. So I'm good, actually. No sweat. But the game still sucks, though. Beyond suck! It doesn't matter if it's the arcade version or the NES version! It's no wonder they didn't make an arcade sequel afterwards! What happened here? I guess Technos didn't know the proper way to port the arcade version on the NES and try their best. Still, this is the ugly duckling of the NES trilogy. Double Dragon 3 is the one I can't recommend. Apparently, that's all I have to say about the Double Dragon trilogy on NES. I mean, there are other games in the franchise, like on the Super Nintendo and Sega Genesis, but I don't have time to do that right now. It's not like there's anything else I'm gonna have to... What the fuck was that? Double Dragon movie? There was a Double Dragon movie? What year was this made? 1994? Oh, we're in trouble! Guess since I talked about Double Dragon, I might as well get this over with. The plot is that it takes place in the post-apocalyptic future of 2007. I was 12 years old that year. While watching the movie, I could tell how much it doesn't resemble much of the game. It's weird that Paul Dini, who his famous work is on Batman the Animated Series, worked on the story for this movie. What the fuck? The only two big name actors I recognize in this film are Robert Patrick, who fits well in this film, and Alyssa Milano, who is way too good for this film. Milano plays Marion, the damsel from the games. But in the movie, she is a rebellious leader from the so-called New Angeles. There are also some celebrity cameos from George Hamilton and Vanna White as news anchors, along with Andy Dick as the weatherman. Fill in your own drug joke here. Are there any positives I could say about this movie? Well, some of the action sequences are good. Mark Dacascos, who plays Jimmy Lee, has fantastic martial arts skills. Whenever I see him in a fight scene, I know it's gonna be good. The biggest thing that triggers me is that Robert Patrick's character possesses Jimmy with the Double Dragon amulet. Yeah, that's the MacGuffin of this movie, go figure. But what really triggered me, Billy backs up to a Double Dragon arcade cabinet. What's worse, Jimmy kicks the cabinet and destroys it. You know, this moment feels like a metaphor for this film. Saying that Hollywood knows the source material better than others because they're big, we're small, they're right, and we're wrong. In the end, this is not a bad movie. In fact, I sat through worse video game adapted movies, like Mortal Kombat Annihilation. Ugh, that still gives me nightmares. Double Dragon is more like a popcorn entertainment. I'm just glad that we have a renaissance in recent years. Okay, that does it. I can't take it anymore. I'm Thomas the Retro Nerd. Thank you all for watching. I'll see you guys in the next review. But as of right now, I'm gonna need some mind bleach after watching that travesty. God, I adore being a Batman fan.
Thought you'd unhinged me, did you? I fooled you. I kept my reason by reciting the multiplication tables backwards. Come on, Batman! I'm with you!
Get in there. Fill in your own drug droke here. Drug droke? I said drug droke. Oh man.
I'm gonna say not again.
Okay, go ahead.
Sorry.